Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan Sanchez, and I'd like to welcome you to the Parent Life Skills Academy. So, our kids are just a few weeks away from entering school again, and it's another year where we have the opportunity for us parents to get involved in our children's education. At least here in San Francisco, we start on the 19th of August. That's just about 2 weeks and a half away from entering the school again. This is a time where we want to get back into routine. This is a time where we want to make sure that we have some sort of schedule, some sort of routine where our child is going back into that mode, right? Making sure that they sleep on time, making sure that they wake up earlier, making sure that they have a regular routine. I know that a lot of us for the summer, we've kind of laid back. We, let our kids kind of just sleep a little later, wake up a little later, right around this time. At least for me, I give it about maybe 2 weeks in advance, just so that we get the momentum going back again, where we're going back into routine. This way, the transition from the summer into the fall goes in very smoothly, right? We don't want to make sure that we're practicing this 2 days before and say, hey, you know what, you're going to start sleeping at 8 o'clock, 8:30 or 9 o'clock p.m., and then you're waking up at 7 in the morning. Like, no, it's a hard transition for students. It's, taking that time, right? Because that's why it's so important to do it 2 weeks in advance. At least that's what I've always helped my son how to do it with his school. One of the things that I always try to figure out every school year is how can I always improve my son's education in the school setting, in the school system. Sometimes it can be very hard, or sometimes it can be challenging, and sometimes it can be a lot more better. So I have a couple things in mind I'd like to share with you that can help you out this upcoming school year from 2024 to 2025. This way, it can help you improve your involvement, your engagement to the school family. So one of the things that I like to do when I start entering the school year with my son is I like to get to know the teacher. I like to get to know who my son's teacher is. I always want to make sure that I build a relationship with my son's teacher. Having that good relationship with your son's teacher or with your daughter's teacher is going to help you get a better understanding how their year is going to look like throughout the time that you're going to be with them. So by introducing yourself, by saying hi, hello, making sure that the teacher understands that you are an involved parent and that you're going to be proactive in his education. You want to make sure that you make it clear to the teacher what type of parent you are and how you serve your children. A lot of times when I used to go with my son to the school, sometimes teachers would look at me different, whether it'll be positive or negative, but they always saw that I was proactive with my son, that I would always come in, that I would make sure that I would volunteer, that I would make sure that I would always be helping out my son, that I would always ask questions. I would always try to get myself inside the classroom so that way the teacher understands that I'm there to help my son and also volunteer so I can help other students as well. The other thing that I would say is, get to know the other parents, get to know the other parents whose child is also going to be in the same classroom as your son or as your daughter. And this way you can build relationships with other parents. You never know. You may have, an opportunity where, your daughter or your son may want to go out with a friend or a buddy from the classroom. And, if you're not sure who the parent is, try to stay after school, get to know who that parent may be. Or also, if you go early in the morning, when your son or daughter is playing in the playground, you may come across the other parent who is dropping off their kid, and you may want to exchange numbers, and that way you guys can have a social hangout. The other thing that I would mention here is, get yourself also involved in the PTA. Getting yourself involved in the PTA is so important because you can do a lot of things for your school. You can do a lot of things for your child. You can do a lot of things for other parents that can't be always at the PTA meetings or that can't always be there in the meetings. And so it's so important to get yourself involved, get to know how you can get yourself in the PTA and how you can be a member of the PTA. And this way, as a PTA member, you get yourself involved and get to know a better understanding about the school system. how it works and how the foundation is and what type of resources you may want to get, or what type of resources are out there for your school at your local city. And if you may not have a PTA, that's okay. You can also have a parent support group. I know for me, I created a parent support group. I know that I wanted to get myself involved and I wanted to give a little extra to the school where I can create a parent support group where we come in as a circle. We come in and just talk. We talk about issues or things that we like to discuss. Maybe some parents wanted to get some time so that they can vent, or some parents would like to know some of the resources that are out there for, parents from the school, or sometimes parents would like to know some parent workshops, because a lot of times some parents, they don't know how to handle some certain situations, or a lot of times some parents would like to learn more about their parenting skills. They would like to understand a better way of how to handle a situation, especially in today's world where obviously time has changed from when we grew up and from where our parents grew up. So, obviously we want to keep up to date where our children are at this time and place. So, we want to make sure that there's always a support group. And by that, you can always talk to the principal, the vice principal. For new parents who are just joining in the school system where, you are a first time parent, your child is going to enter maybe kindergarten, or is going to enter TK, or, is going to enter a school setting where this is all new for you. It may be a little bit challenging and it may be a little bit difficult. I remember when my son started TK and he, was not used to just being in a school setting, and he was not used to being around other kids in a classroom setting. And I just remember I was not used to it as well, but I made sure that I had to reassure myself that this was my first time, and that I needed to, overcome this. It's not easy for all those parents. I got emotional myself, but I was very proud that my son succeeded and he was able to accomplish his TK program. So, for a lot of us, it could be hard, and for some of us, it may not. But, we understand that this is a time where we want to get ourselves involved and make sure that our children are at an academic level as well, right? We want to make sure that we are helping our kids. It's so important for children to understand the foundation, especially if your kids are, in an elementary school level. Now, also for parents, it could be a difficult time, maybe transitioning from elementary to middle school, or middle school to a high school. So it's different levels, and definitely we can get more involved, and, definitely we can talk about more into details about, what happens when, there's a conflict between, a student and a teacher, or a student and a staff member. We're going to be discussing more of that throughout the year, and we're going to be discussing that more later on down the future. These are exciting topics for me. These are things that I think, we can step in, because a lot of times, we don't know how to handle these situations, or we may feel like the school is not supporting us as parents. Sometimes, it depends, on a school district. Some schools do very well, some other schools are not. It all just depends. So those are the things that I wanted to just kind of mention today. If you have any questions, if you want to comment down below, please do so. I have a lot more topics to talk about. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video, and I'll see you next week.